Rob Van Dam. Rob, how are you, dude?
Holy crap. Doing fantastic this week, Dom. I hope you are too.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Busy week, very busy. Fun stuff going on. We got some fun stuff here. We're live on YouTube. We are live on RVD's Twitter. So, guys, if you have a question, feel free to use the super chat. That helps out the show. We're going to make it a little bit of a short one here today, but we're going to make it a good one. Quality over quantity. So, there we go. We got Matty Ice here. Hey, Mr.
Shorter
Marijuana.
better.
Huh?
Shorter better.
Shota better. That's right. Tajiri. We got tune in for that one. There's a great clip of RVD giving that story about Tajiri that we have up. So take a look there. Shota better.
Advice from the great Tajiri when I came into WWE in 2001. Shorter better.
That's so great. I love Tajiri. Oh man, I got to meet him once at backstage at MLW, and he was very polite. Very nice.
Awesome dude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just want to say I'm saving money in this heat in Las Vegas because I have my jacuzzi turned down to 100 and it is 107 right now. So that's the air heating up my jacuzzi for me. Why don't I just turn it off? Because then I think it might dip below maybe at nighttime. I don't know. Maybe I will turn it off. But still, you got to let it circulate and go through its fucking process. So no, I'm not going to turn it off, but I might turn it down lower.
Yeah. Do you use your jacuzzi on a daily basis for the most part, or is there certain times of the week you do it?
Well, I mostly do when I'm home, and sometimes when it's really, really hot, not so much. But
yeah.
But I have been lately, and it's really weird because like when I get in, like women can handle hot water more than men. It's a fact.
Really?
Women love a hot fucking shower. They love it to be scalding hot. I'm generalizing, but I think it's okay in this case. I think anybody listening, let me know in the chat room. But I think that's true. And for men, I get in there, it's like and even when I get like Katie likes the jacuzzi at 103, I like it at 101, so we settle like on 102. But it's
102.
Even at that though, like I feel like a lobster when I first get in, and all my muscles tighten up, and it takes a little minute before you get kind of comfortable to it. I guess you jump in a pool, it's the opposite because it's cold. Anyway, it's a really weird feeling when I relax in the jacuzzi, and then the jacuzzi is actually cooler than the air. It's a strange feeling.
That has to be
strange because it's still really hot, and like where the jets hit kind of burn at first till you get used to it because of the hot water. But it's still different going from your skin being exposed to hot air to hot water. It's just different, and it's weird.
Man, yeah, that is funky. I know anytime I get into a jacuzzi or anything like that, I feel the shock of it. Like I'm like, holy shit. And then you're like trying to get adjusted to it.
Well, and that's the whole hype with the cold plunges, right? Everyone says that experience of adjusting to the ice cold water releases all these endorphins and shit, and is just like everything else in the world claims to be a great anti-inflammatory agent. So, no matter what is bothering you physically, it's 99% of it is caused by inflammation. And that's something you'll learn eventually if you live long enough to realize that no matter what, from the swelling around your knees hurting to the injury, the broken leg taking a while to heal, to just bangs and bruises, to even sickness in your stomach, it's all about inflammation.
Wow. How about that? Yeah. I don't even consider that a lot of the times when it comes to like nausea or anything like that too. It's like, wow, everything has an effect with inflammation.
Yeah. So the cure for everything is an anti-inflammatory. I mean, everything. It was one of the first benefits of marijuana that I started getting asked when people started giving it a little bit of respect. And then they expected that I would answer just like everyone else. And they'd say, can you talk on like the anti-inflammatory benefits that you've experienced as an athlete? Because I know a lot of athletes, say that it works wonders. And I'm like, I don't know about that, maybe it does. I don't know. I've never noticed any anti-inflammatory benefits from weed personally. You know what I mean? If I take a couple 200 milligram ibuprofen, I notice that anti-inflammatory effect. I notice when I put ice on something, I notice the swelling goes down, and that's what we're talking about. Have I noticed that from cannabis? No. For other athletes, and a lot of other athletes, I feel like that was one of the first hooks, something they could grab onto and claim to legitimize their usage. I really feel like it was more that than actually feeling swelling going down from, smoking weed.
Absolutely. And like, you got to think too, all these pro athletes, like when it comes to like football and them banging up their bodies and like them going through all that inflammatory stuff on their own nature and everything, then a heavy contact sport like wrestling too, it's just like, geez, it's like, why isn't that kind of used a little bit more if people find the benefits for it? It just makes more sense,
Well, like rub on topicals, cannabinoids, that can get the localized area better. I expect you'll get some, depending on what you're using. The RVD CBD cream, was the shit, and everyone that used it got a great experience from it, but I can't tell you like I'm smoking weed and then the swelling goes down in my feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sounds like there was that and there was glaucoma. That's all anybody would respect at first. You better have glaucoma.
Yeah, is that why you're smoking?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first. And then, I think everyone kind of latched onto that. And then eventually people realized, especially once we got to start studying it after the Anslinger's ban on studying cannabis was finally compromised, and we started legalizing it state by state. Now we know there's over 100 different cannabinoids and 5,000 uses for the plant. A lot of them are medicinal. Wow. And that's one of the reasons that they don't want you to know, because they want you to buy their drugs.
That's it. It's all about making the money. It's all about the other type of green, not the green you're smoking.
But that is the way that our world works. Yes,
it is. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey, speaking of money, Matty, Mr. Marijuana, he's been a long time guy. He was Mr. Ice Cold here before, and he's now a One True Sport member too. But he contributes $5 today. He says headstrong today. Love it. Rob, would you do a farewell in WWE versus Sabu? Dream opponents? Would you like to do more with Tommy Dreamer, or stand up, or do to Booker T?
What's that? Do or Booker T?
Stand up, do, or Booker T? I don't know what stand up do means.
Maybe stand up, dude. I don't know.
Stand up, dude, or Booker T? I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Anyway, yes to all of it. I think that would be cool. That would be cool under the right conditions, Yep. And I would love to work with Dreamer or Booker or who else did he say?
Sabu.
Sabu is talking about having one more match, and we talked about it the other night, and he's got different ideas and stuff, but he thinks that having just a match with me would be too easy. And I think maybe I get what he means, maybe as far as like we're family. It'd be easy to put together. It's a match that people have seen a lot, and maybe that's too simple as opposed to Sabu's last match being against Muto or something like that. Then it would be like a much different kind of appeal. So I think I get that.
Yeah. Did you think he also means maybe like it's too easy because you guys have that connection already, like that, hey, let's have a match and we can do it. Or like the opportunity is there, but he would want something that's more of a challenge to try to get.
I think maybe so. I think maybe he wouldn't want it to be him versus the guy that would be happy to carry his bags through the airport for him. He'd rather have it be someone that's competitive, that wants to get themselves over instead of just get him over.
Yeah, probably. True. Yeah. I'd like there's a lot of ones going through my head I'd like to see him go with as a I mean I would love to have you do it, but if I were to think of somebody outside of you, like I mean obviously thinking of the top stars today, like a Will Ospreay or something, I'm sure they could formulate something good together or something like that.
We even talked about a tag team, possibly, with the Alliance.
That'd be nice too. Maddie also follows up with another one too. Thanks, man. Watching RVD, also Eddie win the world belt, past or current product. Wrestling gives me them endorphins. What do you think of the Ultimate Warrior's farewell? So I guess he means his Hall of Fame, and then the goodbye he had, the unfortunate goodbye he had on Raw that following night.
Yeah, I think it was just incredible as far as the timing of his last appearance, the full circle of him making amends where some torn material needed to be sewn back together in the fabric of spirituality. And he is a spiritual guy too, was. And so I know that was really important to him too. Like, he talked a lot of people do. He grew a lot of people don't, unfortunately. I find a lot of times through my growth, it distances me from people that I used to be with because they don't grow and I do. And that's okay. That's just part of the process. What are you going to do? Fucking stunt your own growth just to be compatible with people that go through life basic thinking and not growing. But anyway, Warrior, he talked, he had some heat with certain guys, and he was able to meet them, shake their hand, and able to see and experience what an impact he had on the industry, regardless of the DVD that was insulting to him and WWE trying to possibly damage his legacy. That's how he saw it. Regardless of any of that, man, he really touched a lot of us, impacted us, inspired us. And it wasn't about it was about his intensity, the character. He charged us up, so a lot of the people that say he wasn't, some people say that he wasn't the favorite guy to wrestle with or whatever. And I get that, but that's the way that it works. A lot of those guys, they may be limited, but what they got is enough to sell tickets, and that's where the priority usually is. So, Warrior's going to always go down as a legend and as a guy that I think we all believe he deserves to be at the top of the food chain. I mean, when he wrestled Hulk Hogan and I was a fan, I mean, I was behind him like so much. It wasn't just like, okay, let's go through the rotation and get the next competitor up, put him over with jobbers for 3 weeks on TV. Then Saturday night's main event, he's going to wrestle Hulk Hogan. I mean, I would see that. And if Bobby Heenan manages him, he's going to get the next title shot. A la Ron Bass, Hercules, some of those guys that, for them, it's their really big moment. But for Warrior, man, I think we all saw him as like neck to neck, like as the, like I said, I used to think he was Achilles reincarnated from the Trojan War. I believed that as a kid when I saw him. And, I thought like that it was believable that he could beat anybody.
Right.
So,
and like you're not
anyway, the timing, what I think about him dying, it was tragic. And man, I'm glad it didn't happen a couple days before.
Right. And like you think about the speech that he made, both for the Hall of Fame and then the next night on Raw, really, really powerful stuff. Like especially if you're a huge fan of him too. And like it really felt like, okay, he completed the circle when it came to that, because that whole relationship was broken basically, and like almost felt irreparable in a lot of ways. And here it got back together. So it was such a gratifying moment for that weekend, but such a tragic ending, obviously, after that. And so,
yeah. So it almost seemed like he knew he was going to go. When you watch the speech after he died, and you have that in mind, and he's talking about what he's going to leave behind, and after he's gone, how the warrior spirit's going to carry on. Just everything that he was saying, it was foreshadowing, to say the least, and that made it really special. I'm into the synchronicity of the universe. I study and follow the patterns, have for many years now, and I think all the answers are right there, although they're not for all of us to comprehend, and they're not for us to comprehend at the same time. Sometimes we understand something now, years later. That's because we got to get more of the picture sometimes, and more of the equation to be able to put it together. That's just the way that life is. But if I can move on just for one quick second, we're talking about relationships, right?
Yep.
I just wanted to mention this because I saw a video on YouTube that had taken something from, I guess, from our podcast. I did a couple other.
Really?
Well, the thing was, some of the other news sites or whatever you want to call them, they're running with, RVD said he'd be down to come back to WWE, and then they highlight on me saying that I would think maybe relationship issues with the people that are in charge might be what's the holdup. I just want to follow that up with, I've also said that I don't know that the people in charge see money when they look at me. I know all the fans do. I know that people hold me up there in the highest regards with the highest paid wrestlers in the industry ever, even though I'm not one of those prospectively. But by the impact and by what I've done, I know that I am considered by most to be in a certain position in the industry, but to those in charge, I don't think that I've had a lot of evidence to support that guy necessarily thinks that I would even be a good investment. So it's not just about a personal relationship; it's about a business relationship too, and whoever's in charge, whether they, regardless of personal feelings, whether they think that going with this idea is a good investment or a bad investment, going with this idea, same, whether this guy's good for the company. And so anyway, those are things that I think people don't consider that I do. Like, I have no reason to assume that anybody wants me unless they tell me they want me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you've expressed too before, like, you're like, hey, I'm not going to like go out of my way to like pitch myself or be like,
that's
hey,
included. That's included in the stories. Like, they are going with that, saying that I wouldn't call or beg or be hungry or go in. And maybe that's part of it too. Maybe that's part of why what I said might be true. Why maybe it wouldn't be considered a good investment, because I'm not going to be the most hungry, the most begging. Maybe I don't want it bad enough, or that's what's thought of, or whatever. But it's not. I don't think it's just as simple as like, because every other wrestler does that. Oh, so and so, and it's the same guy. Everyone always blames him and says, if it wasn't for him, man, I would have had a shot. He got jealous because I was big like him and this and that. And everyone's always said that. And people have said it for me, so I didn't even really have to. It was just kind of a fact that he was, that I was told, and that it was told by other people that were in the office meetings, that he wasn't a big supporter of mine or of putting me forward back then. And it's easy to just say, well, it's jealousy. Hey, whatever it is, that's that person's qualified job, is to make that decision. And so whatever it's about, that's a business decision at that point. It's hard for everyone to just he's jealous, and I'm saying regardless of that, I was told a long time ago that he didn't, and this was maybe before. Maybe I've proven myself since then. I don't know, but I was told that at one point when I was first there in WWE, or getting one of those first momentum rides, that there's a story they were thinking of putting me in WrestleMania. Maybe it was against the Undertaker? I'm not sure. It sounded like a main event spot, or at least a really high on the card spot. And said party said, no, he's not over enough. And it's easy to just take that personally. And like a lot of people were like, man, he's so jealous, man. I can't. But I mean, what if he backed that up with his logic? Then does he not have an argument or a position to stand his ground on what he believes? Of course he does. So I'm trying to put in that common sense that you got to look at it from a business perspective too.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that already. Like, you basically laid that out and said that, like, it doesn't, no, just because of a surface thing of what people think and what the conventional notion or thought process is behind that story, so to speak, you painted a completely diplomatic and open-minded picture about it already with it all. So I know what you're talking about too. That was a couple episodes we talked about that, and I thought the big takeaway I took from that is like, man, that was really forward-thinking diplomatic process to handle that. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's true. It's taken in the whole account, the whole bigger picture.
Absolutely. So
the president, doesn't think this guy's the best job to make him secure and jump in front of a bullet. He could like him, not like him, think he's too slow, whatever. They're all going to be taken into consideration, but either way, it's his decision to get the guy that he thinks is going to be the best, get his the best for his money, get the best in this position, the best security, but the least bang for his buck. And that's it. Also.
Yeah. Guys, be sure to keep your eyes peeled on which dirt sheet you look at, too. A lot of these ones will blow it out of proportion or really highlight something that's not as big as a deal as it is when we in context, if you take it all. I don't know. It drives me nuts sometimes, Rob.
It's always inspiring people to think bigger.
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of presidents, and he actually also the Warrior, the Hulk Hogan was on the Republican National Convention thing and gave a speech and mentioned the Warrior on it and all that stuff. Did you get to see any of that?
I did. I watched it. I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah. It was like a 10-minute promo. It was all Hulkmania was running wild.
Yeah, man, he did good. Good speech. They loved it. I was a little bit surprised that the agenda seemed to be to name drop and to remind the people of the wrestlers. It seemed, trying to think about why he's saying what he's saying, and he's there to say, hey, Donald Trump's the man. But an obvious part of the plan was to connect people with their memories of the 80s and watching what he did. So, you guys remember the Macho Man. Ooh, yeah. A couple times went there. As I mentioned before, the Giant Brother, and it was like he went there a couple times, and it was like, who else did he mention? Well, you said the Warrior.
Yep.
Anyway, I thought it was a great speech. I was just surprised. I wouldn't have thought, although if I had advisors and scriptwriters and whatever, I would have understood it more. But initially, I wouldn't have thought necessarily that you were playing to that kind of audience, like wrestling fans, because they're all politicos. And so I was a little bit surprised at that, but they seemed to eat it up too. The more he did that, they were like, yeah, we remember that you were our idol growing up because you and Macho Man had that feud over Elizabeth. Yay.
Mega powers exploding.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I tell you what, later on when Trump name dropped Hogan again after the fact, he got the biggest pop I think of the night.
They loved him.
They did love him. It was pretty neat to see. It was so surreal. You know what I mean? Like, right, obviously you being in the business and then me covering the business, seeing him in that element was pretty surreal.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty elite level of celebrity when you're not only arguably the most recognizable man on the planet, but in your inner circle, you hang out with world leaders and shit.
You're right. Wild.
All from going to that Tampa Sportatorium way back in the day and getting his leg broke.
Yeah, that's it. By was it Hiro Matsuda? Is he who broke his leg?
I believe so.
I think so.
According to legend.
Yep. That's what it. And they came back. He broke his leg and came back, brother.
Yeah. That's right, brother.
That's it, dude. Matty, Mr. Marijuana chimed in again. He said stand-up comedy is what he was referring to with Booker T and stuff. So stand-up comedy. So
okay.
Stand-up comedy, or would you like to do more? Oh, with Tommy Dreamer, stand-up comedy or Booker T, I think. So he was talking about that, I think. Stand-up. Would you like to do more stand-up comedy, I think is what he meant.
With Tommy Dreamer?
Maybe, or just maybe stand-up comedy in general.
You know what? I do as much as I want to do, really.
Yeah.
You know, so like I've been wanting to, a lot of times I wish I wanted things more than I do. You know, I thought when I first moved to Vegas, I was going to be doing what they call a residency out here, which is a regular scheduled performance. Right now, the midget wrestlers are doing that at the Nerd Bar, and they're the first wrestling residency in Las Vegas because of that, because they have a deal. They're there 2 or 3 days every week. Just saw them actually Wednesday. Anyway, and I had some opportunities I was looking at with my then manager, Tom Garland, who now has moved to Iowa or whatever. But I realized right away, like right off the bat, like I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I like the idea of it. I like the idea of like plugging into the community. Like I love the city of Las Vegas. It'd be cool to know everybody and be known as part of Vegas. At the same time, man, I became such a homebody, and the more peace I have at home, the less that I want to go out. So right away, I realized that's not something that I really want. A lot of times and with stand up lately, like it's been, I don't even know when the last time I did it. Well, I guess whatever it was, I probably put it up on my YouTube. And anyway, I have to feel motivated, inspired to do that. The last several times that I went up on stage, I just wrote a whole new set before I went up, just a couple of hours before I left in the daytime, and I enjoyed the pressure and just having to do it. I enjoyed the whole thing. But since then, I've been going through different stages of burnout, too much travel, starting to recuperate. Then I leave again, and then come home and leave. And it's been that's been dominating my life. And I get where even just domestic flight going across the country and back, and not sleeping before a 6 a.m. flight because I got to leave my house at 3 or whatever, 3:30. So anyway, it takes a lot to recover. My brain is like not there. Let me just put it that way. I'm always like, I'm trying to catch up on stuff. I get frustrated. I'm frustrated at myself when I'm tired now. That's the newest thing that I'm noticing is I'm always frustrated at being tired because I always feel like I've only got so many days at home that I have to capitalize on, to get shit that I want to get done. I don't want to roll these projects off till next week and the next week and the next if I can avoid it. And anyway, have not been in the creative mood at all. And that's what it takes. You know, when I do feel like I'm in the mood and I write something and I go up on stage, always after going on stage, it sparks like these different areas in my brain. And after I leave the stage, like I can't wait to go back up again. And then I don't know, I start coming up with ideas the next day. It's like it turns on a few switches in my brain, and I miss that when I don't have that. But it's something that organically, I haven't been there. I did take a booking that's, I think, the 27th. It's coming up. Stoner Rob reached out to me about doing this, and it's some kind of a roast, and it's wrestling themed. And I said, yeah, sure. Sounds fun. And I don't know what it is yet. Not worried about it yet. But hopefully after doing it, hopefully I'll want to keep putting something into that because I do have fun with it.
Yeah. It kind of gives you the itch once you kind of do that again and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that this 27th or the August 27th?
No, it's July. It's coming up.
Okay. So almost a little bit over a week away.
Yeah, Roastamania, I believe it's called.
Oh, that should be a fucking blast.
I wonder if my website.
Okay.
Under my appearances.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Oh,
it's not there yet? Let's see. Cool. There was a couple more super chats in here. Oh, yeah, Seth. Thanks for the $20, man. Whoa, I thought RVD would be sleeping for 12 hours right now. I've only slept 4 hours and had a bizarre dream. Any crazy recurring dreams, RVD?
No, not as an adult. As a kid, I used to have a recurring subject. I used to always dream like I could fly. And sometimes it would be easy, like Superman, like I could think. Other times I had to really move my arms like I'm swimming in the air. That one actually happens a lot. Now that I think about it, I think that did just happen again the other night because I didn't realize I was dreaming until just now, but I remember doing that. And it's like I'm trying to show off with people, like watch this. And I move my arms like quick enough and I can like come off the ground and do like a somersault, like a slow somersault in the air, just like being in the water. When I dream that, it feels so real, like it makes sense to me. It feels like I should be able to, in this pool of energy that surrounds my body, that I should be able to manipulate my location, and not be subject to gravity, but to be able to use the web of energy to actually move me. So it's weird that I can't do that. But mostly I don't remember my dreams, though. It's very rare. Very rare. Even sometimes I'll be having a really good dream and I wake up and I want to go back to sleep to try to continue it. And then a minute later, I can't remember what I dreamed about. I sleep great, but I don't usually remember my dreams.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Carl Jung? I guess he's big into the dreams. Like it was interpreting dreams and how they have meaning and stuff like that. He's like a German philosopher from way back when and was like writing all this stuff. And I tried reading a couple of his books. Holy smokes. You need somebody to interpret it because it's so immersive. I'm like, what the fuck? But I saw it from other YouTube videos and stuff like that about how like a lot of different stuff when it comes to this. It's like people that you like immensely don't like, how Trump is so polarizing and stuff like that. Well, like people say that people that really do not like Trump or have things like that, he's in their shadow basically. And that's the person that they don't want to be or that they hate about themselves. And so they're projecting that onto somebody like Trump. So like dreams and all that kind of stuff going into it. Carl Jung, seems pretty interesting. I just can't read it. So
you're saying Carl Jung, the guy that does the synchronicity?
Is that the same guy? Yeah, I think so. Yes, Carl Jung. Mm-hmm.
Okay. To be honest, it's a funny expression, but I mean, I just want to say like I believe, and I don't know this for sure, but when it comes to dreams, what they mean, what causes them, I kind of feel like people are guessing, just like when they tell you what happens when you die. Nobody knows, as far as I'm concerned, what happens to us after we die. And I don't care how many people tell stories, about going up towards the light in the tunnel and then anything, and I'm not saying I don't believe any of it, but I don't think that any of it is something we should consider fact, even though we're brought up when we're younger to believe, hey, you're good, you go to heaven, you're bad, you go to hell. Don't use your middle finger because you'll be tortured for eternity in flames. It seems a little extreme, but depends on what you believe in. And we're taught to believe that and be afraid of that. And I kind of feel the same way about dreams. Like, I don't know. I might be wrong. Maybe there's some studies that I don't know about that would explain it in a way that I understand the science behind it. But I feel like if I'm asked what's the meaning of life, which I was recently, my response to that is it's obvious that the meaning is to observe and record data. How do I know that? Because that's what every living creature does every waking moment of every day. All right. We use our five senses. We're always smelling, seeing, feeling, tasting, hearing, all day. And it's lots of times, like my dog is like little puppy, Lovey. She's like so curious, running around the yard and trying to see and I'm like, what do you do with all that information? But really, the true question is, what do we do with all that information that we spend all day collecting? Why? I mean, were we put here to record that information and report it on? Because if so, I think we do it in our sleep.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It makes sense to me, and maybe the dreams are some resonation of files being exchanged or something. I mean, for lack of a better term, but I don't know. I have had the ones where I'm trying to punch somebody and I just can't hit him or can't hit him hard or whatever. And I'm getting frustrated. And I'm like, God damn, I suck. And I think, like whatever psychologist tells you that's related to, there's probably something to that. You know what I mean? If you're having a problem that you're trying to overcome and whatever, and your mom this, your dad that, I believe that there probably is some patterns to that, but I think there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, I think that's to think about, just from your fact of like what you think about the meaning of life is to observe and take information, and that's really fast. Yeah, because it just simplifies everything to like, you're looking at all what you're capable of doing as a person, but then in turn, what you instinctively do too. It's
trying to grow so you can take in more in certain subjects too, and that's something too. As information gatherers, we branch off into our own areas of expertise that we have affinities to and learn specialized higher level information in different areas. If we report that to some big alien center, or God or whatever, it's like a nonstop, always evolving process of information gathering and also information growing. Even information is always growing.
Man, I love that. And you know what? It's like, you think about people like, if you find interest and you start taking and gathering information of something you like, look at a lot of people that aren't in that situation where they're able to do that, and how kind of it affects their lives in general. It's like they're not making the most of what they're doing but what their kind of purpose is. So that's kind of neat too. It's like, guys, try to do what you want in life.
And when you think about it, like most of our laws, commandments, that go back as far as, even though they were man-made, a lot of all of them, let's just say all of them, have a religious foundation, right? And when you think about it that way, certain things that we would do, maybe smoking weed, for instance, maybe it is detrimental to my ability to be able to pick up more information. Maybe it relaxes my processing speed. Maybe it makes me here instead of being out there. But when you think about it, like a lot of things that were written for control could also be attributed towards, no, we don't want you to stray from being the best information gatherers we can be. Get out there. Don't kill each other. Don't steal from each other. Fucking, just see everything you can. Don't fuck anything unless you marry it. Don't eat poisonous apples. Get back to me. Let me know what you got.
Let me know.
But like the whole population is the scouting team, the first line of the fucking army. Like, boom, go out there and come back with us. Let us know what you got.
I like that. I like that. Maddie also says every action has an equal or opposite reaction. I don't know what he's referring to there, but I always like that term or that.
And we've talked about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it. It's easy to see it in the present tense just like that. And it makes me want to explain it by saying there's consequences to everything that you do. Everything. Yeah. And the consequences are a reaction from what you did. So a lot of people will try to deny responsibility and say, I didn't do it. You did it. I told you if you said one more word, I was going to smack you in the face, but really the smack is something that I did, that's an action that I took in reaction to you talking, but that's just fucking deflecting the blame. To smack you. People do that all the time,
Yeah, that's true. Maddie also says, get the F out. I have the same flying dream as a kid too. So
I still do sometimes, man, where I remember showing everyone like working. I went way up and then I stood on top of one of those telephone poles. I was like, see, but it felt so real. And I feel like I did that recently too. That same one where I'm doing the somersaults, like in the water. I used to, I grew up in a swimming pool. And one of the things that I used to do to show off, we would have contests, see how many somersaults we could do in the water. And water goes up your nose. It sucks, but that's exactly how it felt like doing that in the air in my dreams. Yeah. I had one dream one time that I remember where I knew I was dreaming. You ever have those?
Yes. Oh yeah. All the time. Mm-hmm.
Nobody else in the dream knew except for me. And for some reason, we're way up on this tower. It was like a Rapunzel kind of tower, like a big white fucking, like a castle looking brick wall in around a circular deck that we're standing on, looking way down into all this greenery, this shrubbery, and for some reason, I was telling everyone, I want to jump, and they were like, you're not gonna jump. I'll do it. They know you. And this was so long ago. I was a young kid when I had this dream. I always remembered it because I was like, okay, watch. And I was like, I'm going to fool them. Like, they're going to be so surprised because they don't even realize that I'm dreaming. And that's so weird to think they only existed in my head. They're not going to be surprised. Like, no one even knows about this but me. It was so weird because but I jumped. And I'm going down and like about, I don't know, a little more than halfway, I started saying, okay, I better wake up. Boom. And I made myself wake up. And and at the time I felt like I got over on them, it was so weird. But then after that, in real life, I heard that you can't die. You never die in your dreams because if you do, then you'll die in real life. And after I heard that, the conversations that I've had with people, no one has died in their dreams. And it made me at first afraid, like, wow, if I wouldn't have woken up, bam, would I have killed myself? And that's what I thought of when I first heard that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now in 2024, I still don't know. Have you ever died in your dream?
I'm trying to think. I know I've about died, like something either about to crush me or something, I'm falling or something to that effect. But then, you wake up or whatever. I'm trying to think though. I think I've maybe been out of my body and seen myself die maybe, but I don't think I've actually boom, first person died, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Seth has something about dreams too again. He says, I have lucid dreams where I can fly too, and I see everything for miles. Sometimes I can also turn invincible or phase through walls. Whenever I realize I'm in control of a dream, I always test the limits of what's possible. Yeah, that's interesting to do. I've done that before. Have you've done that before too, Rob, besides that other one?
No, I only remember that one dream where I knew that I was dreaming. I don't remember that ever happening again, but I get where you would want to test. And it's weird because if you think about it, if you're in your own head and in a dream and nobody else is even real, it's almost like you're just imagining, like when you're daydreaming, the only difference is that you have control, right? You can think about what you want to think about, at least to an extent, right? If you're daydreaming, you could be like dreaming about, wow, when I grew up and I own my own club on the beach, and rent surfboards, it's going to be so awesome. But then you can't just choose what you dream about at nighttime. It'd be cool if you could, just select like a remote control or something. I want, a blonde, a redhead, throw in a Japanese. Ever come halfway through? She comes in the room, keep it exciting. Hip hop in the back, whatever. But
you set the whole mood for everything. You lay out
pretty
sweet.
But daydreaming, you have control. Night dreaming, you don't. But then these dreams, like Seth is talking about, where you know you're dreaming and you do have control. Maybe you're basically just imagining, just daydreaming, and just fooling yourself into thinking that you're actually in a dream.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
It gets too weird. It gets too weird to think about. Like, that's why I don't think people really know, because there's so many circular conversations. I think it's more of a paradox than actual facts related to chemical reactions in the brain. I don't know though. Like I said, there's probably info out there that I haven't been educated on that maybe would change my mind. But right now, I kind of think it has some spiritual aspect to it.
Yeah. A reoccurring dream I haven't had in a while, but it's always that I would always have something where it's like Satan is after me, and he's like either this being that I've seen before or just this, I know he's coming. And I always have to protect animals. Like I have to, like, either it's my pet or like a dog or like a duck, something. I have to protect an animal and like make sure it's taken care of. And I also have to be careful that Satan's coming to get me too at the same time. It's a weird reoccurring one I've had for years on end, and it's like, wow, I don't know what to think about that one, but it's an interesting one. So, Gem the Dawn, thanks for the $2. He just says, much love, Rob and Dom. Thanks, man, appreciate it.
Thanks, dude. Happy Friday, or whenever you're watching this.
Yes. Speaking of today, it's been 27 years. I looked it up. It's been 27 years since ECW Heatwave 97. Do you remember what match you were part of, Rob, for that one?
In 97?
Yep.
I think 98 is the one in Dayton, Ohio, right? With the Hayabusa and
I believe you're right on that one, because this one
97, is it El Snow?
No. So it's so it was in Philadelphia. It was you teaming up with Jerry Lawler and Sabu to take on Rick Rude, the Sandman, and Tommy Dreamer. And it was ruled to a no contest. Rick Rude turned heel on Sandman and Dreamer, leading to a long brawl. The brawl also served as the final original ECW appearance for Jerry Lawler. So, do you remember working with Rick Rude at all? I think we might have talked about this one before.
I do remember very little. It doesn't say anything about this being a cage match.
No. When I cut and pasted it, it did not have anything on there.
I remember doing something maybe with the same eclectic group of wrestlers, and I don't remember Jerry Lawler being there, but I remember something with a cage match where I think Rick Rude might have locked Dreamer in there, something. I don't know.
Let me see here. I'm seeing if I can find that.
I remember me and Sabu beating up Sandman and Dreamer while they were handcuffed to the cage. Couldn't even protect themselves.
Let's see here. Rick Rude, Tommy Dreamer. Okay. Wait a second here. You are right, Rob. This was a cage match.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess Jerry Lawler was there then. But what I remember most about that is Sabu and I, so Sandman and Dreamer are both handcuffed like this to the cage. So they can't protect their face at all. And we're talking before we go out there. Well, anyway, Sandman's handcuffed like this, and Dreamer is on the other side. And me and Sabu put the chairs in the middle, 2 chairs opposite, so that we could run and jump off them simultaneously and deliver flying attacks, right? And I'm gonna fucking be running and jumping off a chair in the middle of the ring and doing a flying one-legged kick into I think Fonzie was holding a chair, and I'm going to be kicking it into Sandman's face. And Sandman is cuffed like this. And what's he say to me? Lay it in. That's the last time that he said that to me.
You made sure.
Yeah. He hadn't worked with me that much before that. So that must have been early, like in 96. Must have been because he never would have said that after being in the ring with me. And he never said it again. And I'll always remember, like, wow, what a thing to say. You know, like, you really want this one to be the one that
you were completely prone. You have no protection. You told me to lay it in.
Like, bro, you're gonna look like a pug. You're gonna look like Lovey when I'm done.
You're like Lovey.
Yeah,
that's.
I know Rude was part of that. Beulah was part of that. I didn't remember Lawler being part, and I don't remember much else. I don't think it was a full-blown match. I think it ended up being more of I think we screwed them over, and maybe we did a run-in, or I don't know. Something, I don't think it was an actual full-blown match.
Yeah, Rude turned on him. So he turned on Dreamer and Sandman. He was supposed to
locked him in the cage.
Yeah, he backstabbed.
Made out with Beulah, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Did you have any interaction with Rude too, like outside the ring or anything like that?
A little bit. I really liked him and respected him. You know, like I really liked him when I was a fan, watching him and Ultimate Warrior. Those were the first 2 guys that I ever saw that had the muscular physiques that they had. Like, I wasn't used to. And I mean, Tony Atlas was around and stuff, but it was really rare. And then, like, for some reason, the Warrior and even Rude, their particular physiques looked so intense that it made Tony Atlas look more like a really big wrestler, and they were like something different. Like, they, you know, I think they had a bodybuilding contest one time. I remember a posing contest or something, and I was like, yeah, these 2 seem like the only ones that could do that. I believe that as a fan. Rick Rude was always intense. He was always believable. His execution of his moves, his offense, and everything was always like so easy to get behind and appreciate. And when I was in ECW with him, that's probably the only time that I was around him. He wouldn't have been in WCW, I don't believe, when I was there. And I think the same could be said for WWE. And I did interact with him a little bit. I remember, just smoking a joint with him. Me and Sabu, and I don't know who else was there. Probably Pee Wee. Could have been Little Guido. I don't know, but But I remember him coming out, with the smoking clique, and so then that made him even cooler.
Yeah, Nash always speaks highly of him too, and how cool he was, stuff like that. Yeah. He was obviously great in the ring too, and yeah, to what you were saying too, like guys like Warrior and Rude, they were like chiseled. Like it was what really defined, like, wow, that's a whole body I've never seen before. For like, if you're a wrestling fan and stuff like that, they really.
It seemed like it, And then now, when I look back, like Kerry Von Erich had a pretty good bodybuilder physique, and it seems like, I don't know, they were there, but we didn't notice, or they weren't showcased, or something, or maybe it just was that they were that much more intense.
Yeah, right. Well, cool. I think that's been a pretty good episode. This has been a good episode, Rob. We got to cut it short. I got to go to play my
good
play
luck with that, dude.
Tonight. Yep. And so, guys, this has been a fun one. If you guys like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to RVD's YouTube channel at The Real RVD. You can also go get full episodes every Monday at 4:20 p.m. at rvdtv.com. Share, like, subscribe on that one too. And then you can also get some extra added content on OneTrueSportTV.com. and become a member. There's a lot of other members that have joined us today, from Bad Stanton to Matty Ice to I believe there was another one in here too. But we appreciate everybody that's joined in on here. And go to RVD420.com and check out the RVD glass that's available. I know Maddie was interested in one of them, and they do ship internationally too if you are outside of the country. I just got that confirmed this week. So if that's an interest for you guys, be sure to check them out. Take a look right here. We got a few of them right there. So boom, boom, boom.
Very nice. So nice.
So nice. Very nice. But you go to RVD420.com and check them out. And cool, Rob. Well, your next gig is Cleveland, right?
Yeah, the 2nd and 3rd of August. It's another comic or WrestleCon. What are they? Are they doing 2 a year now or something? Or?
Yeah, so it's at Summer. So SummerSlam is that weekend. I'll be there too. And
Okay.
then so that they have the WrestleCon for SummerSlam, and then they got obviously the WrestleMania one. So
is this the first time doing that for them, or
I think they did it last year because they were in Detroit last year. I think. They did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it was a Comic-Con, and then I saw the poster, and shit, it's a WrestleCon. So cool.
Correct.
That's the 2nd and 3rd, and I'll have Katie with me, and the 26th or 27th, whatever it is, I am at that Roastamania, and I will be getting up on stage and grabbing the mic, and that might be, if that's 6 days from now, that might run, or 7 days. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll do it whenever we can next week. Same time, maybe not. Same channel, probably. Same RVD. Definitely.
Definitely, it's happening. Boom.
Thanks, Van Dam fam.
We'll see you guys next time here on One of a Kind with RVD.